Greetings, dear suckers. My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And welcome back to Disco Elysium, where we're finally going to bed after quite a while of it being 2 o'clock.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
Does this even qualify as a bed? This looks more like a disassembled couch. But alright. Guess it's what we're sleeping on. Tomorrow is a new day. Well, I guess technically today, but never mind. Why does day start at
The
midnight
sheets feel
anyways?
at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
Why does the day start at midnight anyways? That feels deliberately contrary to the way people actually talk about days. Oh well. Time for... Well, I'm sure some people would say something about blessed rest or respite or what have you. Frankly, I'd be glad if I never had to sleep ever again, but oh well. Guess we have to.
And then sleep doesn't. And
What?
then sleep doesn't come.
Ah, fuck. Yeah, that's fair enough. I've got trouble sleeping even in the best of conditions. These are hardly the best of conditions. So why?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Mayhap.
Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly.
Oddly. You mean it smells odd? That's an oddly way of phrasing it.
Smells of alcohol and sweat. And grease. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
Who killed him? Who?
Something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves.
Union, huh? No. No, I don't think it is something to do with that. I think that's a smokescreen. He said something about communism killing him, but I would hardly even I'd hardly call the Union communist. And love did him in. Was it? No more thoughts. Fall asleep now.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Oh, lovely. Ah, crap. We're gonna have some deep and meaningful dreams, aren't we? My favorite. I don't think I've ever had deep and meaningful dreams, or even meaningful ones at all. But they're not nonsense, though. My dreams are pretty well-formed. I mean, they don't always make sense, but they're pretty well-formed narratives. But they're just stories. Works of fiction. Now this is the most blatant symbolism I've seen all day.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
What is this?
What it says on the can, Harry. Answer the question.
I was born in a hospital where people usually go to die.
You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me, do you remember your wife's hand? your face.
Tell me what this is! I'm not answering until you tell me who you are!
You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life?
The worst day of all time. Not just the worst day of my life, the worst day of all time? Well, that sounds pretty optimistic to me. It means it's all up from here, doesn't it? Or, more likely, it means you're talking out of your ass. You said, who?
Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth?
I left or I was left? I don't know. I think I was left.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you.
So the drinking, the narcotics, the self-destruction, the self-abyss, all of that came before her departure. So why? Why? I don't know. But at least we'll be sure.
Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
Well, I guess there's Kim. I wouldn't call us the best of friends, but we get along. I can get it all back. Maybe not the friends I had before, but I can get it all back. You fucking disco ball motherfucker. You hear me? I will not be this... I will not be a corpse hanging from a damn disco ball. My past does not rule my life. My past is gone. Dead. A bloated corpse of a drunk. I can get it all back.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me.
Yeah, well, you know what they say. Sucks to be you.
You failed Elysium.
Elysium. What is Elysium? Besides the obvious.
Everything. The Pale and the Islas. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history.
And I've somehow failed all of that, have I? The Pale. What the fuck is the Pale?
You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
Have I now? How the fuck am I so important? Oh, and by the way, you're not fooling anyone. I know you. I've talked to you before. All that time ago. And then again. And again. Hello again, ancient reptilian brain. Trying to drag me down into the self-abyss again, are we? I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back! I'm not going back.
No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you ever do. Even in your dreams. And the act is wearing thin. The spots of the disco ball fade around you.
Your face is wearing thin.
You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time. Sweating up the bed. Stinky boy.
I can come back from this. I am coming back from this.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours. Bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding?
You're right. I'm not coming back from anything. Who the fuck am I kidding? There's nothing to come back from. It's not like I'm falling into the abyss, trying desperately to grasp at the edges to claw my way back up. No. I'm not some bent piece of metal that needs to be snapped back into place. No. I'm just a person, which is to say, a process. Oh, never mind. It's not like you're listening anyways. It's not like anyone is listening. Would it even matter if someone was? Whatever. I'm trying to solve this case.
You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
God, there's another type?
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry.
Nothing for it, I guess. Wakey wakey.
Time to go to work in the shit factory.
What, do I need to go to the bathroom? I had a shit factory once in a Minecraft mod pack. It was weird. Okay, 5.5 hours. That's not that bad. I mean, I guess I'm sort of skewed. I usually sleep for 6, but still. Huh?
Good going, buddy.
Thanks? I can't tell if that's sarcastic or not. Oh god, oh my god, what the hell was that?
Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time.
Fun.
You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
Yay. What the hell is going on with me?
You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Have you ever seen a detective? I'm not convinced that's actually in the job description. But I guess if we want to actually solve the case, that's probably the case. Then again, I seem to be thinking right now. I mean, if you're talking to me, clearly I'm thinking. Shit, you seem downright eloquent. No, that's not it. Really, I feel super good. Yeah, that's the spirit, I think.
That's not really true.
Shut up,
Your
me.
heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more.
Let's not. Okay, so we're going through withdrawal symptoms then. Okay. That makes sense. Well,
Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
let's see. Wait, what is speed? I mean, I can kind of guess, but for all I know, it's something completely different in this world.
Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor?
Sheer fucking willpower, that's how.
You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago. With me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die.
Sounds
Don't
good.
be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple.
Hey, fuck you. Don't tell me what I can and can't do. Me. No, I can take this. I'm not going to go looking for speed.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be
The
honest.
horror.
2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
That's a lie. I can do this without the speed. Half the town won't be dead. Why would that even be the case? Even if I couldn't do this. You're just catastrophizing, that's what.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Maybe I'm better off without a spark. Maybe I've been igniting far too often. Maybe I should just fucking cool off. The dawn of the second day. 48 hours remaining. I wonder, did my... Okay, no. Obviously my thoughts didn't progress during that. Makes sense. Okay then. Time to start doing some detecting. Oi. Ah, must still be asleep. Fair enough, it's pretty early. Oh, hello. Oh, he is up, okay. He got up before me, apparently. Neat. Oh, hello. Oh, is this the kitchen? Yes, yes, here we go. Now maybe we can actually finally clean the, oh,
This industrial gas-powered stove has been used to prepare food for many hungry hostel guests. There are several pots and pans on hand.
What are you planning to do? Throw a dinner party? Please refrain from culinary experiments until after we finish the investigation.
Whatever
Damn it.
you had planned, you have to do it when the lieutenant's gone.
damn it.
The stove is unmoved by your comings and goings.
Ah. That's a shame. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to wait until tonight to get these. God damn, these boots have been a massive fucking hassle. Okay. Yeah, is he...
Morning.
Morning.
Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them.
Why do we need to talk to them? What do you mean, rowdy?
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast. I have no doubt these are the Hardy Boys Evra told us about. The ones who keep the peace around here.
If you can call it peace.
And the big one must be Hardy himself.
Let's see. These are the men Garte told us about yesterday.
I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said.
Indeed.
One loose thread less to worry about. And one big problem to replace it.
It was ever thus. There's so many of them. Maybe we should call in reinforcements?
That would just escalate
Yeah.
tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union.
Personally, I'd say a conflict between the RCM and the Union is an end in and of itself. Considering how fucking... well...
In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay?
Fair enough.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
True. You think that's a good idea?
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first.
Yeah. Good idea, Kim. Or Authority.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms.
Oh yeah.
But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
Yeah, but... we can do that in a minute. Or an
They're
hour.
in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Alright. Alright, got another skill point. Sweet. But which one do we go for? All of these sound real interesting. But I should probably avoid getting stuff that are penalty to authority right shortly before talking to those bozos, you know? So let's go for the 15th Indo tribe. It's not the shortest, but for them, but yeah. God damn, we are running low on spaces with us, and there are a lot of that. And I have no idea which ones are actually worth getting. So, yeah, I'm just kind of fucked in that respect. Oh well. Especially considering removing them takes an additional skill point, which is, yeah, kind of hard to justify. Okay. We'll replace that. Maybe. What's my half-life? Half-light at the moment? 3. Nah. Okay. Oh, hey, you're back.
Just a moment.
The old woman turns back to the cafeteria manager. You're that person that I was talking the head off of.
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
The cafeteria manager appears genuinely apologetic.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear.
She turns back to you with a weary smile. Good day, ma'am. Everything all right?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too.
She sighs. Wait, what's wrong with the phone line?
The manager was vague about it.
She frowns. Why did you need to use the phone anyway?
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night, but they're still missing, and I haven't heard from them.
Again, what is with the text not quite matching up? Whatever.
I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
Okay, I'll bite. Has your husband gone missing before?
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
Hmm.
A cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds. Something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine. When you look around, you're still in the whirling in rags.
But you have more important things to worry about.
Nonsense. I'm a police officer, aren't I? I'm supposed to be dealing with exactly this sort of business.
More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something interesting.
Also a good point, conceptualization. What is this expedition your husband was on?
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect.
Oh, entomology, eh? I've got some experience in that. Good stuff. You ever heard of the, Acylidae? Also known as the robber fly or assassin fly. It's pretty cool. Should look it up sometime.
But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. What could be keeping them?
Wait, who's this Gary person? Do you trust him?
Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that.
She smiles.
Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day.
Are they in a rough neighborhood?
There's a nameless old fishing village nearby, but we've never had any trouble there before. There is a lot of crime around here, isn't there?
Sad, but true.
I can't say it's the best part of town, but I wouldn't worry too much about a pair of grown men traveling together.
Good point, Kim. Criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot, after all.
Do it. Find her husband. This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect.
Maybe they got kidnapped by the insect, I don't know.
Some fringe science is exactly what's needed right now. Spice up that vanilla murder investigation.
This sounds like police business. I'll help you find your husband.
Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? I did suggest we played cool, but...
The lieutenant tilts his head toward the vigilantes in the cafeteria. I've got a premonition that this missing scientist is connected to our main case. I don't know, maybe.
I sincerely doubt it. Still, I suppose it won't hurt to keep an eye out.
Oh, thank you, officers. Truly, I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel.
Alright. Oh, I didn't realize they're categorized by day. Neat. So, your husband is some kind of scientist?
Oh, yes. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise.
Ah, I see. He deals with organisms that hang around dead things.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends.
Oh. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. What a weird name for that. The lieutenant sounds unimpressed.
That's one opinion, yes. And people are entitled to their opinions.
I don't know about that. I don't really get the whole idea of, like, entitled to your opinion. I mean, yes, you are, in fact, in control of your own mind, usually, but I'm not really sure what it actually means, practically speaking.
My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research.
That's... Huh.
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Let's see. You could convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids. Maybe. Tell me more about Morrow. Looks, character, your relationship.
Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin.
What does your husband look like?
Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle.
It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Indeed. Let's try again. If I were trying to meet him on the street, what would I look for?
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description.
Well, actually, it's the man's description, but never mind that.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case.
I do know. How long have you been married?
We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more somehow.
16th anniversary. 16. 16. Interesting. That's the same number of years since I made that vow to always wake up at 7:30. That feels significant. How did the two of you meet?
Via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say.
You should be
I
ashamed.
was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident. And he'd just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
Here you are indeed. Well, maybe.
She's skipping over some important parts.
No shit.
Perhaps you'll find out more later.
I think I have all the information I need for now. Let's move on.
I hope I've been useful.
Tell me more about this rare insect your husband is looking for.
Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with entomological minutiae.
No, please, bore me with entomological minutiae.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
No, I want to hear about the insect.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but
A phasmid? As in the order Phasmatodea? The order of insects generally known as stick bugs? And sometimes as devil's darning needles, although that's shared by a few other things. Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of any stick bug cryptids.
Ah yes, Phasmatodea, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves, that sort of thing. Ghost insects, colloquially.
Ghost insects. I don't think I've heard that one before. What an odd term.
Oh yeah, here comes the interesting.
Oh yeah. Smooth jazz here on 95.5 The Weasel.
where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here on the insular Indian coast.
Reeds? Interesting. Does that mean it's as large as a reed? Because that sounds rather menacing. On the plus side, easier to find.
Hence its name, the insular Indian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us officers.
She looks you in the eye and nods thoughtfully. Milady, there would be no greater honor. If I stumble upon it, I'll let you know.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists.
Oh, relax. It's not like we're gonna go massively far out of our way. Just, Whatever. If we see it, we'll let her know.
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all.
What makes you think the phasmid is around here?
Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looks like the reeds. Gary sent us the clipping.
So a newspaper clipping is all the evidence you have, then. I mean, it's not great evidence. It's not exactly the most reliable thing to go off of, but on the other hand, that doesn't sound like something that teenagers would make up. You know? I mean, people make up cryptids. People make up cryptids all the time, but an insect that looks like the reeds? What I'm saying is, the rumor is out of standardize of hoax. It doesn't sound like the sort of thing people would make up as a joke, or even think, or even just mistake as something that exists, or even just like think they saw but didn't actually see. Because if they saw, I don't know, they could have just seen some reeds that looked a lot like an insect, but I mean, that sounds obviously ridiculous. They'd have to be pretty certain that they saw something to actually say anything about it.
Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insul Indian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at.
Yeah, unless they knew about the phasmid ahead of time and are just pretending they weren't, then that does sound suspicious. Let's see. So, does it have cool powers?
Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even.
Her face lights up at the thought of it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool power. I'd love the ability to blend in perfectly among the reeds. Then again, I spend more time among the reeds than most people do, and have more cause to be undetected in there than most people. Anyways, so is it dangerous?
Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully?
Fair enough. I mean, phasmids are herbivorous after all, which doesn't mean they're not dangerous, admittedly, but they're not predators, is what I'm saying. They're not hiding so they can jump out and grab you while you're not paying attention. Is it valuable?
Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie.
Fair enough. Okay, what's so special about this stick bug, then?
Oh dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special.
The woman's face flushes with embarrassment.
Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
Huh. Well, alright then. That's all for now, ma'am. Actually, it isn't, but I just say that so I could take off my shirt in front of her.
Oh, hello, dear. I didn't notice you at first.
Maybe you could convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids. Yeah.
Sometimes the most charming thing you can do is be reasonable in your requests.
Could you tell me about one, just one more interesting cryptid? The Insul Indian phasmid was great.
I suppose you could use a break, and I could use a distraction.
We could all use a break sometime.
One cryptid, like you said. One. This can't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. We have things to do.
Okay, Dad. Okay, Kim, just one little cryptid. Promise.
He nods and assumes a waiting posture. Ooh, tough choice there.
Ooh. Tricky. Difficult choice. Are there any invisible cryptids?
What an interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are.
Ooh.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them.
Shush, Kim. She's gonna tell me about the invisible cryptid. What is it?
It's the Col de Mamadaqua. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible.
What?
The Col de Mama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track.
What? The fuck? That, Huh. Not exactly what I was expecting.
Kolamamadakwa can also be translated as a whisper light and low.
A whisper light and low.
Yes, that's another translation. They're both quite lovely, aren't they?
Her eyes light up behind her glasses.
Although the low part is a little ironic. The Col de Mamadaqua makes, or rather is, such a high-pitched sound that other animals, including humans, can't hear it. It could be everywhere all of the time, and we wouldn't know.
Huh. That...
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Good question, Kim.
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory.
What evidence is there of this animal being a sound?
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagi ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds,
I know.
were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds.
Songbirds.
The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls.
Huh.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mamadaqua, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent.
Yeah, it's very silent, almost as if it doesn't exist. Go on.
They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them.
Name them?
Sequester, Time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mamadaqua they followed individually.
Why is it so afraid of us?
That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction.
Extinction? Metal Gear?
They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadaqwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear?
Ah.
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing.
Indeed.
They cancel each other out.
Yes, I gathered. Why was there a second psst? They cancel each other out.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, They wiped out most of the population.
Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Koltamamadakwa population anywhere.
What the fuck does wending cloth mean? I mean, I know what wending means, but...
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, ma'am.
I'm glad you did, dear.
She seems genuinely glad. Could it be here? Right now?
It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights.
Interesting. What about...
What about what?
What's the most dangerous cryptid?
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
But Kim, don't you want to hear about another cryptid too? No.
The lieutenant pauses, thoughtfully.
Does he?
Something in him breaks.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Okay, more cryptids then.
Well, the most dangerous cryptid is thought to have been the gnome of Jeroma. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue almost entirely.
Shit. What did this cryptid look like?
It was, reportedly, a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and an ungainly little thing. Quite scary to look at.
Was. You put an awful lot of emphasis on that. Does it no longer look like that?
A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it.
Huh.
It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of these very little species?
A very good question, Kim.
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
Indeed. Then again, it's not really a surprise that cryptozoology has so many of these things, because of course it's going to have to end like that. Oh, alas, and then it was gone, and all of that, or something along those lines, because otherwise, well, it wouldn't be cryptozoology now, would it? It would just be science. So cryptozoology, simply by virtue of being the ones willing to investigate the fringes of science and beyond, is going to inevitably run into a lot of that sort of shit, regardless of the actual truth of any of it. So that isn't exactly a knockdown argument in itself, so to speak. Still though, it is very convenient that it just disappeared and nothing like it was seen again. That second part, definitely.
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least likely to be found again.
What's the tiniest cryptid?
Cryobacter catlensis.
She answers immediately. Cryobacter catlensis? Metal Gear?
Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kutla, on the Boreal Plateau, by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago.
What's so special about it?
bacterial colony Mijanu found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly from before recorded history. Mijanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study,
What?
no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life.
Wait, she injected herself with it? What?
Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea.
I guess, but it still sounds incredibly stupid. That is not how biology works, you stupid motherfucker. That's not even... That is just mind-bogglingly stupid and yet completely believable. Or believable that this might have actually happened, I mean.
It's actually a little hard to see,
Indeed.
but do go on.
You mean there is an immortal geologist wandering the world?
Yes, and she's quite mad, too.
What?
After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away.
That was a joke, Lena. Lena, whatever your name was. You're gonna tell me that it's actually fucking worked. This utter retardation actually... Okay. I am a man whose mind has been completely fucking obliterated. I barely know who I am or where I am or anything about the world, and yet even I know that's complete fucking bullshit. That's not just not how biology works. That's not how anything works. She was preparing for the end times. She wanted to witness and record the Twilight proceedings.
Mijanu did talk about the end of the world a great deal before her abrupt departure.
Really? And you know what? This talk about the end times and all that, I can buy that a whole lot more than I can buy this shit. It's not just obviously untrue, it just straight up is something that doesn't follow from the premise. Complete nonsense. Anyways, what's the biggest cryptid?
That would be the giant of Kokonur.
She says, as if it's common knowledge.
The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes.
What do you mean, strange light?
Mirage or psychogenous luminance.
Mirage? Don't think I've heard it pronounced that way. She does not elaborate the nature of this luminance further. And just how big is it?
No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision.
Is it dangerous?
The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable.
Huh. So, if it's so big, how come people haven't actually...
Hui. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur Desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Great. This is great shit. You need more. Gravity anomaly? Dig in it. Dig in this parascientific stuff right here.
This has been educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else.
Of course, dear.
Or not, as that's all we had to discuss. Okay. Time to put my shirt back on. Interesting stuff. some of it was obvious bullshit, but other bits of it were plausible. Maybe plausible is too strong a word. Not obvious bullshit is perhaps the best way to describe it. So the phone line is dead.
Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it. Losers.
Is it true that there was foul play?
Who told you that?
I would never disclose my sources. That would be dishonorable.
Fine, yeah, it looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but I don't know if it's at all related. Plenty of assholes around here who aren't murderers.
Indeed.
If you do find out who cut the line, though, let me know, so I can forward them the repair bill.
Okay.
Yes?
Ooh, what's this? Oh. Oh, spices, alcohol, and tomato hangs in the air. Ooh, nice. Nice little bit on the way to that 20 real that I'm gonna need tonight. Well, today started rather peculiarly. Spent an hour talking about cryptids right after a weird fucking dream. Next up, we'll, what will we do? We're gonna wait, we're gonna not talk to those guys yet, because reasons. Maybe we'll go check out that lovely lady over by the docks. Have her give me more of a lowdown on reality and all that. And then, you know, eventually swing back over here and talk to the union workers. If I have time. You know how it is. So, until next time, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. Fuck you all so much for watching, and so long, suckers.
You're gonna be okay, kid.